Hello everyone and welcome to our reflection on this Wednesday. I want to share the psalm that's set for today, which is Psalm 77, and I'm going to read it to us and then do a short reflection really about returning to public worship and the real complexity of the feelings that we might have around that and the real challenges that we face with what is happening at the moment and the requirements that we have to live with whilst we still have to recognise the threat of COVID-19. So, Psalm 77. I cried out to God for help. I cried out to God to hear me. When I was in distress, I sought the Lord. At night I stretched out untiring hands, and my soul refused to be comforted. I remembered you, O God, and I groaned. I mused, and my spirit grew faint. You kept my eyes from closing. I was too troubled to speak. I thought about the former days, the years of long ago. I remembered my songs in the night. My heart mused. My spirit inquired. Will the Lord reject forever? Will he never show his favour again? Has his unfailing love vanished forever? Has his promise failed for all time? Has God forgotten to be merciful? Has he in anger withheld his compassion? Then I thought, to this I will appeal, the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the deeds of the Lord, yet I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will meditate on all your works and consider all your mighty deeds. Your ways, O God, are holy. What God is so great as our God? You are the God who performs miracles. You display your power among the peoples. With your mighty arm, you redeem your people, the descendants of Jacob and Joseph. This is one of the psalms that was written when David was in great turmoil and had great doubts about what he was doing and about what God was doing. And I think there must be echoes for all of us about what is happening at the moment and the struggles that we are all having. We're getting our heads round the easing of the lockdown. It almost seems incredible that it was as easy as it was to go into lockdown, and amazing how complicated it is to get out of lockdown. But on Sunday, the churches at Bleasdale and Barton will hold a public service, the first time for 3 months. And that's exciting, as well as quite scary. It will not be the same as normal, and it's important that we acknowledge that and lament that and recognise it cannot be business as usual. Rather, we do have to take great care. To take great care for each other, but also for our wider community. And we recognise that when we come back to worship, not all people will feel able to. Not all people will be able to. And that is fine. But for those who can, and who feel comfortable to do so, you will be more than welcome. However, when you get to church, you will see things that are very different. Pews will be taped off, so you won't necessarily be able to sit where you would normally sit. And we will obviously have to follow social distancing and keep 2 meters apart. Clearly, if you're in one household, you can sit together, and that'd be lovely. But people from different households will not be able to get close to each other. You'll be asked to sanitize your hands as you go into church and to leave your collection on a plate as you enter church. We will ask you not to loiter, but actually to take your seat in a pew quickly, so that again we can maintain social distancing and ensure that people get into church comfortably. Sadly, we will not be allowed to sing. But hopefully we'll play some music at some points in the service to help people worship in different ways. We will not be allowed to share the peace other than to say it to each other and perhaps to wave or just show some form of recognition at that point. When it comes to communion, we will not be going up to the altar rail, but rather receiving the bread, for we can only receive in one kind at the moment. We'll receive the bread at the chancel steps. And again, we'll have to take great care about coming to get communion reverently and with dignity, but also in a way that respects the need to keep ourselves socially distanced 2 meters apart. So in most of the churches, it'll be a case of coming up one way and returning to your seat via one of the side aisles. But we will tell you and explain to you what will happen. And then very sadly, at the end of the service, we will not be able to stay for a chat and a coffee. Rather, we will need to disperse quickly. And if we do want to spend some time catching up with another household, we have been told that we need to do that outside where it is safer than in the confines of a church building. In addition, of course, we will need to make sure that we keep the church clean and that we wipe down surfaces on a regular basis. And if you can help with that, we would be grateful, but we have got plans in place for that. Once we've had a service, we will keep the church shut for the following day, again to mitigate that risk, to try and make sure that the virus, if there are any viral particles within the church, they've not had chance to infect someone else. These are incredibly difficult times, and there is a sense sometimes that we lie awake thinking, what is going on? When will life get back to normal? Well, I suppose one of the challenges of the course is that in one way life will never get back to normal, because we will not be able to forget what has happened over the last 3 months, and all of us will have been changed by the experience. And it's important that we acknowledge that and recognise that, but also recognise that the God that we worship does not change. He is not silent. He is here in the midst of all that is happening. He's in the midst of all the decisions and the guidance that we are receiving. And he will be and is in the midst of our worship, whether that's together in church or it's at home. Whether it's with familiar words, as in a Holy Communion service, or whether it's in the words that we just cry out to God, as the psalmist did. God is in all of it. His ways are not our ways. But within the midst of all the uncertainty, he calls us. He continually calls us. He says, come. Come, all who are thirsty. And he will give you the drink that you need. So I'm going to leave you with a Taizé chant. And if you'd like to ponder and reflect on the icon behind me and the Paschal candle, and just let God minister to you and let your spirit worship him and give thanks for all that we have. Amen.